Shu Ogata is a certified broke loser with a wallet emptier than Saitama's head. Yet he somehow survives off the charity of his ex-girlfriend Ayano, and the over-the-top loyalty of his demon waifu Kazara. Even with zero money, zero shame, and an ugly face, Shu claps all the heroines in the anime. The story begins in Barren City. Kazara breaks into Shu's locked apartment to make dinner for him, who's meanwhile out here eating lunch with his ex Ayano. Back to the apartment, Kazara turns on the rice cooker only to find there's no electricity because our broke-ass protagonist hasn't paid his bills. Ayano is clearly worried about Shu's health and asks if he is eating properly, but Shu just casually says it's his first meal in 3 days. Then Ayano tells us the whole thing. Shu used to work for AAA Corporation, a private military company run by Ayano's mother Akino, but later quitted bragging about going independent, and now he can't even make enough to put food on the table. Ayano tries to be the voice of reason, offering him advice for the future, but he shuts her off saying it's his life and he can make his own decisions. As he tries to leave, Ayano gets disappointed real fast, saying that he is not independent at all because currently someone is feeding him. Shu immediately changes the topic to work. Meanwhile, Kazara starts doing everything without electricity. After making her ex pay for the meal, Shu heads home. He notices the door is unlocked, but doesn't think much of it and goes inside. He casually walks in and gets jump-scared by Kazara. Then Kazara shows him the 5-star dinner she has prepared for him only to know that he is already full to the throat. Kazara gets depressed real fast and suddenly, Shu starts eating for her sake. While washing the dishes, Kazara offers to help Shu by paying for his electricity bill. And just then a package arrives, and of course, Shu makes Kazara pay for it. Kazara cries over losing all her savings. Meanwhile, Shu casually opens an app and teleports to a meeting with some big-shot organization leaders. They discuss a level C disaster mission to take down some demon going crazy at a casino. While everyone else charges over 100k, Shu casually offers to do it for just 40k. Of course, he gets picked, making his competitors mad. The previous night before the mission, Ayano's mother calls him to provide backup for 35k, which is 80% of his paycheck. Later, Shu and Ayano's team reach to the spot. Shu charges in like he's about to solo, but his weapons do 0 damage, and he's cooked. As he's about to get clapped, his waifu Kazara pulls up with a cool-looking sword and saves his ass. Ayano sees the demon can regenerate its limbs, which makes it stronger than a C-class demon. Kazara charges in, but the demon throws her to the ground. She mentions feeling weak because she and Shu haven't done that thing in 3 months. According to the anime lore, Kazara unleashes her demonic powers by kissing Shu, who in return gives her his memories and then collapses temporarily. As they make out, Kazara transforms into a badass demon and solos every other demon in sight. When Shu regains consciousness, he sees Ayano and Kazara beefing mid-battle. He tries to mediate, but Kazara goes full Yandere and starts yelling at him. She demands his house key, and Shu hands it over in fear. The duo then performs their special attack, finally defeating the demon. Just as they're about to celebrate, the building starts to collapse, and everyone runs outside. Ayano tells Shu that even a B-class demon doesn't matter as long as they have Kazara, a Class A demon girl. The next thing we see is Kazara sneaking into Shu's place with the key. She takes nude selfies with him while he's asleep. The next morning, Kazara prepares breakfast while discussing the mastermind behind the demon attacks. Turns out, she has the ability to extract and view people's memories using her powers. Meanwhile, Shu is out here struggling financially, so he's on the grind looking for more work. He goes to meet Ayano while she's working out, but dude gets way too distracted checking her titties. Shu begs her for a job, and she actually considers it, until she sees a post of him and Kazara sleeping together. She instantly gets annoyed and leaves. Cut to Deputy Mayor Shinfa and Linfa in a serious meeting, discussing a disturbing threat. A student may be planning to assassinate their father, aka the mayor, during the upcoming night party. They hit up Akino's organization for security, and Shu and Kazara get assigned to the job. At least they're getting paid. At the party, Kazara is laser-focused on the free food. Girl tries to steal some but gets interrupted by Mikhail, the mayor's rich kid and her classmate. Meanwhile, Shu's here smoking with some guy named Miles, completely unaware that a demon is literally spying on them. The mayor's up there giving a speech about peace and whatever, totally clueless that a demon is about to stealth kill him. As the demon is about to attack the mayor, Kazara pulls him outside. Kazara and Ayano then fight the demon. They almost catch it, but it turns out the demon still has a human mind inside. Shu doesn't have the right weapon to take it alive, so he orders a ridiculously expensive weapon from Barren City's express delivery service, even though it costs them their entire payment. Before he even gets the chance to use it, the demon gets absolutely wrecked by a passing delivery truck. His super pricey purchase turns out to be completely useless. You can see the frustration on his face. The next morning, Shu wakes up from a trauma flashback, remembering how his family got slaughtered and how his little sister straight up vanished after getting stabbed with a demonic weapon. Meanwhile, some random factory dude gets cornered by the cops but decides to make a demonic contract over the phone, causing a massive explosion and a citywide blackout. Shu receives a mysterious letter about the recent chaos and meets up with Ayano at a park to discuss it. He shows her a photo of a massive caterpillar-like demon spotted near an electricity plant. Alongside the image, he also reveals an emblem, identical to the one found at the casino. Ayano is surprised that he got his hands on such valuable intel before the job auction even started. Shu speculates that the sender of the letter is exploiting his financial desperation, knowing he would risk using Kazara's powers. He insists he knows what he's doing and asks Ayano to trust his judgment. At the auction, Shu wins the job with a bid of 200k, but just as things settle, new intel reveals the demon has absorbed an organium core, powerful enough to fuel the city for a week. Because of that, they now have to capture it alive to save the core. Fast forward to demon fight time. Ayano's team frees the demon in place. Everything's going fine until it suddenly decides to evolve into a butterfly-looking nightmare. It starts to attack everyone and regular weapons become useless. Shu steps in and calls Akino. Akino requests for Kazara's help to exterminate that thing. Saving the core is no longer a priority. Kazara needs more power and asks for his memories. To fulfill the objective, Shu kisses her, sacrificing 3 years' worth of his memories, including his memories of living with Ayano. Kazara unlocks full demon mode. She goes straight for its core and damages it. Shu wakes up and looks at his palm written aim straight for Kazara. He reloads his sniper, meanwhile Kazara creates an opening for him and he finishes what's left. After the mission, Kazara reads the memories Shu sacrificed, which include his entire relationship with Ayano. Ayano comes to thank Kazara for saving her twice, but after seeing the memories, Kazara apologizes to her instead. A few days later, Ayano and her squad get caught up in a full-blown shootout with some criminals. In the chaos, she clocks one of them as Tony Rossi. She needs the info on him, so she hits up Linfa at a 5-star restaurant and asks her to dig up dirt on him. Meanwhile, Shu's still broke and struggling. One morning, Mikhail randomly pulls up to take Kazara to school. Kazara spots Ayano with some dude and immediately jumps to conclusions, thinking she's sneaking off to a love hotel. But Ayano's actually deep in detective mode, investigating Tony's mafia ties with Mikami, the assistant inspector of the Anti-Demon Bureau. Then Mikami receives a call about Tony's murder. He immediately rushes to the spot and the cops confirm the leader of the Serpiente Mafia is behind it. Shu and Ayano keep hunting for clues, but their conversation turns into an argument, because Shu keeps forgetting their past. Ayano accuses him of not caring and walks away. She ends up crying inside a tunnel. That's when Kazara shows up and finally tells her how Shu's been sacrificing his memories for demon power, including everything he ever shared with Ayano. Ayano finally gets why Shu's been acting so weird. Meanwhile, Shu's here deep in his thoughts. Out of nowhere, an arrow with a message lands revealing the location of the demons hiding out at Serpiente headquarters. Shu hops on his bike like it's Fast and Furious and pulls up on the scene. He encounters a demon that has already bodied a bunch of people. He attacks her but she vanishes into mirrors like some horror movie. Then, one of the victims reveals that the demon is actually Tony's girlfriend, Maria. Maria attacks Ayano when she's alone, but Kazara comes in clutch and saves her. Maria manages to escape again. Later, Mikami treats Shu and Kazara to a meal in exchange for information. During their conversation, Mikami recalls a tragic incident from 12 years ago, an explosion at Barren City's organium mine that wiped out many lives. The police suspected a demon was responsible, yet the media framed Shu's father for plotting with the demons. Meanwhile, Ayano's mother takes her to a shelter, where she tells Ayano the same thing, that Shu's parents and little sister were killed in that incident, leaving only Shu alive. Shu later visits Ayano, insisting on staying to protect her from Maria. He reveals that his sister Kanna might be alive, because she keeps appearing in his dreams and begging for help. As things get emotional, Ayano kisses Shu, and they start clapping. After that, Maria appears through the reflection of rain, but they're already prepared. Then, Kazara appears and starts fighting Maria. She then finds Shu and forcefully kisses him, absorbing his remaining memories of Ayano. Kazara vs Maria, Round 2. Meanwhile, Ayano finds Shu knocked out and wakes him up. As he heads off to help Kazara, she asks about the spicy moment, but dude has already forgotten. Shu links up with Kazara, and they finally take Maria down. The next day, Mikami thanks Shu. Kazara runs into Ayano and immediately gets jealous, remembering Shu's spicy memory from the previous night. Ayano purposely teases her and makes her even more pissed off. Ayano pulls up to Shu's place and starts cleaning, basically wife material. Meanwhile, Kazara is still in her emo phase. She remembers when she first met Shu. He broke her seal, and Kazara tried to kill him. But somehow, he managed to calm her down and convince her to form a demon contract with him. Just then, she glimpses a post of Ayano and Shu together, and in a surge of emotion, she throws her phone away. Somewhere else, this nun named Sharon Holy Grail attacks a bunch of Demon Slayer organization members and asks about Kazara's whereabouts but gets interrupted by cops and escapes. Meanwhile, Shu meets up with his regular informant, who warns him that Sharon is from the Celestial Abbey, the biggest exorcist organization and demon hunter crew out there. Mikami and the police officer listen to them through receivers. After his job is done, the informant tries to run. Shu chases him, but he manages to escape. Sharon tracks down Akino's headquarters and demands Kazara's location. Ayano intervenes and attacks Sharon. During their hand-to-hand fight, Sharon snatches Ayano's phone and escapes. She uses it to text Kazara and tracks down their home. Meanwhile, Shu receives a call from Akino's phone, where Ayano warns him that a nun is after him, but it's too late. Sharon has already attacked him. She immediately recognizes Shu and asks him about their past, but he doesn't remember her. That sets her off, and she starts beating him. Kazara arrives in the midst of the chaos, and a fight breaks out between her and Sharon. Soon after, Ayano and her troops arrive, but Sharon escapes in the meantime. Shu is straight up hospitalized after getting bodied by Sharon. While he's recovering, Kazara tells Ayano everything. 3 years ago, Sharon was also there when Shu released Kazara from her seal. Shu later realized Sharon's plan to kill Kazara, so he pretended like he's down bad for Sharon. While they were clapping, Sharon tried to kill him, but before that he slipped a neurotoxin through her downstairs. What? Just enough to paralyze her, and took Kazara with him. After that, Kazara and Ayano leave, but Shu has already eavesdropped on their conversation. Meanwhile, Sharon gets a mystery package, and it's a battlesuit made of actual demon flesh. She wastes no time and challenges Kazara to a final showdown. They do 1v1 inside an abandoned building. Sharon goes absolutely feral and folds Kazara like a lawn chair, knocking her out. Right when she's about to finish the job, Shu pulls a sneak attack, managing to get Kazara out of there. Shu goes in for the kiss, however, she refuses, asking him what she means to him. Instead of answering normally, Shu kisses her first, then reveals his feelings for her. Kazara doubles down, kissing him even more and straight up draining almost all his memories to hit full demon mode. Now fully powered up, she absolutely wrecks Sharon, so bad that even her outfit doesn't survive. After the fight, Mikami interrogates Sharon in prison. She then reveals that a demon is about to show up in Barren City. It's so strong that it's far beyond a demon hazard. Turns out, stopping that demon was Celestial Abbey's main quest all along. Mikami and the crew are on a mission to expose the mastermind behind the demon outbreaks, but the villain is built different, leaving zero evidence behind. They even start suspecting high-ranking officials, but still, nothing. Then Mikami comes to a realization: Shu's informant might actually be the agent behind it all. Shu begins interrogating everyone on his list, but none of them turn out to be the informant. Eventually, he visits Sharon in prison, and she doesn't waste any time. She reveals that Asmodeus is responsible for the demon disasters in Barren City. But the real villain is Asmodeus's puppet, the very agent they've been chasing this whole time. Sharon even gives Shu some clues to help track him down, all on her own free will. Meanwhile, Mikami goes full detective mode, connecting the dots. As he gets closer to the truth, he finally uncovers the identity of the mastermind. He dials Shu's number to report his findings, but before he can say a word, Mikami gets wiped off the map. Shu and Kazara rush to the scene. The informant is there too, trying to escape, but he gets cornered. Turns out, the informant is none other than Mikhail. Surprisingly, he's the Director General of the Barren City Police Agency. Shu interrogates Mikhail and discovers the truth: he's been gaslighting and gatekeeping the entire city. And if that wasn't bad enough, he's got an entire surveillance room where he spies on everyone, even his own sisters. Then, Mikhail finally reveals the security footage of Mikami's killer. The only clue they get from that is a man in a jacket. So Shu does what any main character would: he locks in and uncovers the unthinkable. The killer is none other than Miles, his own homie. Shu and Akino decide that Miles is the traitor based on his sketchy moves. Akino and her squad take a contract to eliminate him for literally $1 and start tailing him. Mikhail loses his mind because he knows Akino is trying to stop Miles from exposing the truth, Mikhail has always known where Shu's family is but has kept it a secret. Meanwhile, Sharon casually breaks out of prison using a glass shard and heads straight to Shu. Miles reveals to Shu that he was involved in the incident 12 years ago. At first, Shu doesn't immediately fight Miles since Miles had actually looked out for him when he lost his family. He demands an apology for killing and deceiving innocent people, but Miles just casually laughs and says he regrets nothing. Then he transforms into a Chad demon. Ayano and her squad jump in to take Miles down, but their attacks do absolutely nothing. Then Sharon arrives as backup. It turns out Shu helped her escape when he visited her. At first Shu hesitates to kill Miles, still thinking about his past, but Kazara opens his eyes. To stop him, Shu deletes every memory of Miles, even though it means losing part of himself. Kazara gets a crazy power boost and fights Miles. After a fierce battle, Miles runs past Kazara and tells her to take care of Shu. Then he goes straight to Shu and purposely ends himself. Kazara uses her powers to extract the lost memories. Shu's father had long needed allies to fight the demons, which is how he met Miles through Akino. At first, Miles didn't believe in demons, but his skepticism was shattered when Shu's father revealed how he had been fighting demons all across the world. Reluctantly, Miles joined their cause, and over time, their bond grew stronger. However, trouble struck when Miles' daughter, Melissa, fell gravely ill. At the same time, Shu's father discovered the location from where the demons were spawning. But Miles chose to remain by Melissa's side instead of continuing the mission. Later Asmodeus appeared to form a contract with him. They would save Melissa if Miles swore loyalty to them. Then comes the biggest betrayal. Shu's mother, Sayuri, is actually Asmodeus. Her main objective was to use Shu's little sister Kanna as a gate between human and demon realm. As she took Kanna with her, Miles arrives just in time. He tells her that killing Shu wasn't a part of their contract, so he insisted on saving him. Then he sees Shu's father activating explosives and heads towards the exit. Few moments later the entire mine gets exploded, but Miles managed to protect Shu using his demon powers. When Miles wakes up in a hospital, he receives the news that Melissa regained consciousness. In the aftermath, Miles decided to take Shu in, and they begin to live together. Soon after, Miles discovers a letter revealing that he must fulfill his end of the contract and shall forever remain a demon. Although Kazara knows the truth about what happened, she can't bring herself to tell Shu. Instead, she lies and says that Miles apologized for his actions. At first, Shu is furious, but once he gets it, tears start falling from his eyes. The next day, earthquakes start shaking Barren City and it turns out, Kanna's the one causing them. Shu and Kazara link up with the crew, and Kazara explains what she saw in Miles' memories. However, she hides the fact that Shu's mother was Asmodeus. But that wasn't enough to convince them. They ask her questions like why only Kanna was taken, and why Miles only saved Shu. Kazara comes up with more lies to cover the truth, but Sharon notices her suspicious behavior and immediately changes the topic, showing them the contracts made by Asmodeus in different time periods. Turns out, before Barren City, Asmodeus had been appearing across the world for over a century, assuming different identities throughout time. The team decides to investigate the Hive 3 mine, the site of the original incident. But there's a problem, its exact location has been hidden. Ayano tries to motivate Shu, but his fractured memories make it hard for him to remember her name. Later, Ayano invites Linfa, calling it an urgent matter, then threatens her to disclose the exact location of the mine. But Mikhail sends troops to stop them. Out of nowhere, Shu arrives in a helicopter to rescue Ayano. Before she escapes, Linfa slips her the coordinates to the mine. Meanwhile, Kazara and Sharon manage to piece together the location on their own. On their way, Sharon makes Kazara tell the truth. Turns out Kanna was the only one taken by Asmodeus, because Shu was never her biological child. They piece everything together and the truth becomes clear. Asmodeus hasn't appeared even once in the past 12 years because she was most likely vanished in that blast, thanks to Shu's father. They finally understand that the numerous demon hazards caused by Miles were to open the gate, which is Kanna, in order to bring Asmodeus back into their world along with a herd of demons. Knowing that, they speedrun their way to catch Kanna before the government or Shu, and reach to the mine first. But the second they get there, Sharon goes straight for Kanna, convinced she's too dangerous to be left alive. But Kazara blocks the attack without hesitation, treating Kanna as a part of Shu's family. Just as Kanna starts waking up from the sounds, Mikhail straight up calls in an orbital strike. Somehow, Kazara and Sharon manage to dodge that mess. Then, a massive demonic hand emerges from the ground and grabs Kazara. Then Asmodeus shows up. She tries to choke Kazara. But before she can finish her, Shu pulls up and shoots her, not knowing he just unloaded on his own mother. Kazara is devastated to know that Shu doesn't even remember his own mother. As always, Shu urges her to take his memories and defeat the demon. But Kazara breaks into tears, pleading that taking any more would cause him to lose himself completely. Just then, a spear strikes her from behind. It's none other than his little sister, Kanna. As Kazara grabs the spear, she sees a POV of childhood Shu playing with someone. Shu doesn't seem to know what's going on. Suddenly, the giant hand starts to disappear, but Ayano and Sharon show up just in time to rescue Shu. It seems like Shu doesn't remember his little sister either. Kazara looks behind her and is horrified to see Kanna. As Kazara grabs the spear again, she realizes that Kanna has gained access to all of Shu's memories, including his spicy moments with other women. Fueled by pure rage, Kazara moves to attack Kanna but stops immediately upon realizing she is Shu's family. Kanna seizes the opportunity and yeets her straight into the ocean. Mikhail watches this and launches another orbital strike directly at Kanna, freezing her in place. But he ain't done yet. Dude immediately follows up with one last strike, sending Kanna crashing into the ocean. Meanwhile, Kazara is hospitalized, showing no signs of life. Later, Sharon reveals that Kanna is 200 meters deep underwater and officially labeled an S-rank demon. She will awaken any moment and continue causing disaster. If Kazara cannot defeat her, there will be no hope left. That night, when Kazara finally wakes up, Shu prepares to sacrifice all his remaining memories and kisses her. But to his surprise, Kazara flips the whole situation and gives him all his memories back instead. As a result, she forgets everything about Shu. In the restored memories, Shu is seen performing the ritual with Kazara before bringing her back to Barren City to start their new arc together. Thanks to Kazara's OP powers, Shu finally unlocks his PMC license. One day, Shu hands Kazara a set of agreement papers, requesting a simpler ritual procedure, as performing it repeatedly during battle is exhausting. Kazara carefully reviews the documents and notices a missing supplement in the agreement. She later amends it with a new condition. When the ritual moment arrives, Kazara straight up kisses Shu on the lips, locking it in as the new official method. And just like that, from that moment on, Kazara becomes a full-fledged Yandere for Shu. Kanna wakes up, and the first thing she says is Shu's name. She causes disasters throughout the city. Now with all his memories back, Shu realizes that Kazara has always been protecting them, choosing to erase her own memories instead. He promises to protect Kazara and kisses her on the forehead. Then he tells her to stay safe and goes to find Kanna. It turns out Kanna has always been linked to Shu through his dreams, and watching her brother get seduced by women has made her insanely jealous. When Shu finally faces her, she goes feral and tries to attack. But before she can land a hit, Sharon clutches the assist and helps capture her. Kanna breaks free and flies straight up into the sky. Shu chases after her, leading to an intense one-on-one sibling showdown. Eventually, Kazara gets up from bed and looks at her hand, where "Believe in him and fight together" is handwritten. Cut to the battle, Shu gets badly beaten by Kanna. Then Kanna goes for Ayano, but Kazara arrives just in time to save her. Even though she came for Shu, Kazara doesn't seem to know the ongoing situation. Shu explains everything to her and instructs her on how to defeat Kanna by using her sword to pierce her heart. With teamwork, they eventually manage to tire her out, but instead of giving up, Kanna goes feral again and summons 3 giant demons, sending them toward Barren City. However, that's not a problem, as all the PMCs come together to defend their hometown. Then Ayano and Sharon are called in as backup by Akino. Now it's only Shu and Kazara versus Kanna, or in other words, family versus family. While Kazara is clueless about what to do, Shu kisses her out of the blue to give her powers. Kanna witnesses their sweet moment and goes crazy. Kazara unlocks her full demonic power and fights Kanna. After a wild battle, Kazara finally creates an opening for Shu, and he shoots Kanna, sending her crashing to the ground. Just then, Asmodeus emerges, trying to act like the final boss, but Kazara slices her to pieces before she can do anything. Then, Kazara drives her sword straight into Kanna's heart, ending the fight. Shu rushes to his sister, and miraculously, Kanna regains consciousness. In the final arc, the city starts rebuilding, and things seem chill again. Sharon bids farewell to Ayano and returns home. Kanna is imprisoned, but she casually breaks out to visit his brother. At the same time, Shu visits his parents' graves, with Kazara gently supporting him by his side. When they return home, the atmosphere turns romantic. They start getting closer, completely unaware that Kanna has once again escaped. Just as things get extra awkward, Ayano barges in to capture Kanna again. But instead of a clean arrest, the girls spiral into a heated argument, each one demanding Shu pick his favorite girl. Bro gets absolutely cooked in the end. And that's it, that's the video. Go touch some grass, then come back for the next one.